Hello and welcome to today's one quote wisdom reading. So, if you're new here, my name is Juliana, and thank you for checking out Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. And thank you to everyone who has been to one of these videos before. I am doing something a little different as usual. I like to switch things up here a lot. And today's reading will be simply one quote. So, if you're new here, you might not be familiar with the quote cards that I have made. So all of these cards that you see here have a quote on the back of them, and I have like a huge pile of cards. So I shuffled these up beforehand and picked a card for each group, and I'm going to simply get messages based on the image on the front of the card and the quote on the back of the card, and that will be your wisdom for today. For some of you, it might even just be as simple as hearing the quote and just realizing what it means to you, or letting that sit in the back of your mind, and it might just be exactly what you need to hear today. So I clearly have 4 groups here, and I usually do a brief centering exercise at the beginning of the reading, but because this is meant to be a quicker reading, I'm going to skip that for now. But if you do have time and you would like to center yourself before getting into the reading, then feel free to pause the video now and just get centered, take a few breaths, and take the opportunity to get in touch with yourself and then come back. But for everyone who's ready, clearly we have 4 groups today. We have group 1 with this card, group 2 with this card, group 3 with this card, and group 4 with this card. So feel free to take your time, choose based on what image you're drawn to, or the timestamps, or what group you normally like to pick, or whatever your intuition is telling you, and set the intention that whatever message comes through, whatever quote you received, is exactly what you need to hear right now in your highest good. That's my intention with these readings always. So keep an open mind. You can always pick more than one group, or pick a different group if one isn't resonating with you, and I will see you over in your reading. Hi, group 1. If you selected this card, then you're in the right place, and this is your one quote wisdom reading. As I mentioned in the intro, this card has a quote on the other side of it, and that will be your main message today. I'm going to first talk about the image on the front, then talk about the quote on the back, and I'll let you know of any impressions that come through to me, any messages that I get. But it's meant to be a quick, just 1-2 punch kind of reading, so hopefully you'll get what you need to get from the information that we have here, and it will help you with the rest of your day. So, first things first, looking at the image on your card, I'm definitely getting the impression of something dawning for you guys here in group 1. Now, this could be a sunrise or a sunset, but I'm definitely getting sunrise vibes here. So it's possible that some of you are at the beginning of a new journey, or something new is on the horizon for you, whether you're aware of it or not. And it also is possible that I just heard some of you are turning over a new leaf. Like maybe there's a new version of you that is coming to be. Maybe you've been through a bit of a dark night of the soul, or a bit of a spiritual awakening, or some kind of recent shift in your perception of yourself or who you want to be. And that is causing you to make changes, causing a new version of you to sort of come to be in this world. But for others of you, maybe it's as simple as you're a morning person. You're someone who enjoys a good sunrise. Or this could also be, it's more of a sunrise, I think, but it could be a sunset for some of you. I mean, with every sunrise, before that there was a sunset, and after that there will be a sunset. So that the cyclical nature of a day is also important here. So I think for some of you, you're at the beginning of a cycle. Maybe for some of you, you're at the end of the cycle, and you don't know what the new cycle will be, the new beginning will be yet. So that's a possibility as well. For others also, nature might be important today. There is a simple message coming through here of if you're feeling a bit ungrounded, or if you're feeling a bit stressed out, going out in nature, going for a walk might be the key for you today. So keep that in mind. And now let's flip this over and read the quote on the back. So we have, "Who knows? Have patience, go where you must go, and hope." And this is from The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, so this card is definitely this group is definitely about the spirit of adventure and about not necessarily knowing where you're headed. So I do feel like for most of this group, you might be at the beginning of some kind of journey or the end of another journey, and you're not sure what's happening next or where you're going next. And you're not meant to. You're meant to be a bit free-spirited about wherever you're at in life right now. And even if this is just for today, you know, maybe today is a day where certain plans got canceled, or you don't actually know what you're doing with your day yet. Maybe it's a day that you have off. You're being called to be a bit adventurous about it. To, even if you are doing something that's regularly scheduled activity that is sort of your regular, like, wake up, do this routine, do that routine, go to work, whatever, you're being asked to have a adventurous attitude about it, right? I mean, I even remember back in college, sometimes, like, if I'd spent too long indoors, I might just, like, walk across the street to 7-Eleven to get a snack or something, just because I needed a feeling of adventure. And maybe I didn't feel like going on a real adventure, but I still made that little trip feel adventurous by sort of imagining that it was kind of an adventure, especially for me at that time, who was a lot more anxious about life in general and just even about leaving the house. I could get a little bit anxious about going places on my own. And so that adventurous spirit really helped me face even the smallest little task that sometimes seemed a little daunting. I am definitely a much different person now, but that was a really great stepping stone for me to get more confident and comfortable being on my own and going places on my own. And I feel like the story of Lord of the Rings, whether or not you're familiar with it, is a really good, like, context to imagine yourself in when you're just, like, venturing out to do something that you haven't done before, or doing something that you don't really want to do. Like, you're imagining yourself as part of a fellowship that's doing something important for the world, or imagining that you're, you know, trekking through I think Fangorn Forest is one of the locations in Lord of the Rings. Like, imagining that you're there instead of just, like, at the park around the corner from you, you know? Like, using your imagination, having fun with whatever it is that you're doing. And also remembering that the nature of an adventure story is that the characters face challenges. They face the unknown. They come up against things that they have to use their wits to get around or to surmount. And they're not meant to know what's around the corner, right? Part of the fun is watching them face that. And so remember that, and it might help you feel more confident, or at least have a little bit more fun with the prospect of the unknown, whether it's just throughout your day-to-day or in whatever next adventure that you're about to start. So yeah, that is your message for today. I hope that wisdom is helpful, and thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in personal tarot readings, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. If you're interested in hypnosis and human design, we offer those services as well. Link is in the description and the pinned comment. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi, Group 2. If you selected this card, then you're in the right place, and this is your reading with your one quote wisdom. So as I explained in the intro, there is a quote on the back of this card. So I'll talk about the image on the front, and then we'll talk about the quote on the back, and hopefully this will give you some wisdom for the rest of your day and whatever it is that you're facing or dealing with at this time. And at the very least, you'll have something to kind of chew on in the back of your mind today, and maybe you'll come to some insights that I don't even get to here. So without further ado, let's talk about this card. So obviously we have two features here. These eyes looking off to, at least when I'm looking at it from my perspective, they're looking off to the right. And these little sprouts here, like these new plants that are growing. So I actually feel, I know why this card is the way it is. I know what the quote on the back is, but just looking at the picture without the context of the quote, there is a message I'm getting that for some of you, you might be overlooking some growth that you are experiencing or that is happening in front of your eyes. So whether this is some kind of internal growth that you are experiencing that you're not maybe seeing or isn't obvious to you right now, or whether it's the growth of something that you're creating, something like a business or a project, or maybe even a person in your life who's growing and maybe you're not quite seeing it for what it is. That could be relevant to you. So there could be some growth that you're overlooking. Maybe you're overlooking it because you are afraid to get hopeful, like you're afraid to get excited that it's actually happening. Maybe for some of you, you're overlooking it because you tend to be a bit hard on yourself or the situation or the person, and it's hard for you to see the positives that are actually happening. And maybe for some of you, it's because you're simply still in an old paradigm of not expecting growth or not expecting change, and you're just taking your time to catch up. But that might be a relevant message for some of you. So now I'm going to get to the quote on the back. So this quote says, "It's good to be seen past as if you're not the only one, as if everything isn't happening just to you, because you're not, and it isn't." And this is from How to Be Both by Ali Smith. So this quote is about the feeling of enjoying the feeling of insignificance, the feeling that everything in life isn't about you, that everything that's happening to you isn't only happening to just you. Because, and actually the context of the book, How to Be Both, this is about, it's told in third person, but the character that this is about is going through the loss of their mother at a young age. And in actually the scene that this is in, if I'm remembering correctly, they are looking at a painting in which one of the figures in the painting is kind of like looking off to the side, like how I drew it in the card here. And the person who's looking at the painting is reflecting that it's good to be seen past by this, even by this painting, right? But to be looked past, because it's this idea that the painting isn't looking back at this person, right? There's something more interesting than this person to look at. And when you're going through a big life event, especially a really difficult one, sometimes it can feel like everything is about that thing that happened, and you can't surmount the thing that happened to you in that moment. Like everyone is looking at you, everyone is watching what you're going through, and you can't see your way into thinking about anything else, right? So being reminded that there are infinite other people in the world living so many other lives, going through so many different things, that so many different events are happening that are not just impacting your life, and that there are plenty of people out there who have no idea about you, your story, or whatever it is that you're going through, sometimes can be a very comforting feeling when you feel like you are so stuck in your own story that you can't see past it. And it's like witnessing someone, or something in this case, the painting, else who is looking past you, not focused on you, not focused on your problems, actually feels good. And so that could be in and of itself a relevant message for you. Maybe there's something that you already got from that that's relevant to your life right now. So take that if it resonates. But there's also a message here about remembering that, and maybe if there is something in your life that you've been having trouble taking your focus away from, something that is maybe draining your energy, or something that is not pleasant to deal with, and something that it's hard for you to think about anything else right now, but you do want to be thinking about other things. First of all, it's okay to be in that state. It's okay to just let yourself think about whatever it is that you are thinking about. But at the same time, maybe there are things that you can do to take yourself out of that mindset. Maybe there's definitely the feeling that for some people, and focusing on some kind of act of kindness towards someone else, or some kind of volunteer work could be very useful to your situation, to helping you make your life about someone or something else for the time being, especially if you do resonate with having something difficult that you're going through right now, right? Having a positive impact on someone else can be a good part of that healing process, whether it's someone who's going through something similar or just someone in a completely different situation from you. And even if you're not dealing with something difficult right now that you want to take your mind off of, this is a good reminder that even the things that we might know that they're small problems, but they feel big to us. It's a good reminder to step back and get some perspective on the situation that we're in and to decide whether or not we want to continue thinking about it or treating it as a problem, or whether we're ready to move on, let it go, and get on with the rest of our day, right? Take a bigger picture view of the situation and say, do I really need to be focusing on this right now? Do I really need to be making a problem out of this right now? Or can I move on? Is it something that actually needs my attention and needs immediate action? Or is it something that, for all intents and purposes, is said and done, is not my business, or is not something I can do anything about right now? And can I make my day about something else? So take that along with the message of potentially overlooking some kind of growth or overlooking some kind of really positive thing in some area of your life. And if it resonates, make sure that you're giving yourself credit where it's due, and also gaining a new perspective on your situation. And hopefully this helps you gain that new perspective as well. I hope this resonated. That's all we have, so thank you so much for watching. And if you are interested in a personal tarot reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, along with hypnosis and human design services. So check that out. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. And I hope you have a wonderful life. I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye. Hi, group number 3. If you selected this image, then you're in the right place, and this is your one quote wisdom tarot reading. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this card does have a quote on the other side of it. So I will talk about the image on the front, I will talk about the quote on the back, and my intention is that it will be a message that is important for you right now in your day to day. So let's get right into it. So first of all, group 3, you picked this card with all these music notes all over it. So possibly music is very significant for you. Definitely also feeling like even if you're not a musician or something like that, listening to music might be big for you. Or if it's not, that might be something that could be helpful to you today. Some kind of music might come up as significant for you today, a song or a musician. Or maybe just listening to music if you're feeling particularly down, or if you're feeling like you need a pick-me-up, or you're feeling some kind of way. Listening to music might be a helpful thing for you to do. So keep that in mind. I also did get the word cacophony when I looked at this card, because I feel like all these music notes, like in all different colors, scattered across this card is feeling like loud and maybe a little distracting, maybe a little overwhelming. So maybe some of you have been dealing with a lot of noise, like maybe mental, but also maybe literal noise in your life. Maybe you're a little overstimulated. So that's another side of the coin, where maybe you actually need to remove yourself a bit from the either like mental or physical chatter and noise around you, and find some peace and quiet, recenter yourself. I do feel like music can also still be good for that, because if you are needing to maybe calm your nervous system down, there are some really calming sounds that you can listen to, calming music, music of certain frequencies. It's supposed to be good for calming the nervous system. I actually might link a couple videos of some like one person who plays a handpan, one person who sings, who has really calming music that has always worked to calm me down, especially when I'm traveling. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, maybe some of you just need quiet, but some of you might need like some calming music to really bring you back down to earth. So if that's resonating, then definitely check that out. Consider that as an option. But now let's read the quote on the back. So we have, life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now, and when we listen to the music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. From Alan Watts. Alan Watts, if you're not familiar, was a philosopher, I believe, who brought a lot of like more Eastern wisdom west. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't the first one to do it, but he like popularized it a lot. That's the sense that I got from reading about him. But life is like music for its own sake. So yes, this is definitely about being present, about remembering that life is a song that's unfolding constantly as we are living it. And when we're listening, when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. It is interesting how when you're listening to a song, especially, when you're listening to a song that you've never heard before for the first time, you're never really sure what's coming next, but you also know that something is coming next, right? You're in the story of the song, and sometimes you can even anticipate, or it's not really surprising what happens next in the song. But then sometimes the song will surprise you, right? You might hear a sound that you didn't expect to hear, and if you don't know that much about music, you might not know why. If you know more about music, you might know why, and you might be like, oh, it's really weird that the song did that. But if you do know a lot about music, you might also be like, oh, this, it's not surprising. Obviously, I knew that was coming, that kind of thing. But when you're listening to a song, you know that the story of the song is happening while you're listening to it. You know that something's coming next, and yet in order to get to that next moment, you have to live in that present moment. You have to live with that present sound. Like one sound feeds into the next sound, into the next sound. So if you heard one of the sounds in the song in isolation, it wouldn't mean the same thing as what it means when you're listening to it in combination with all the sounds around it, right? That's why we can have all these same notes played in all these different songs and have them all sound different and have different impacts, right? And that might sound kind of obvious, but I feel like this is really relevant to how you're approaching life right now. There might be a feeling of wanting to have more control, like especially if you're feeling ungrounded and overwhelmed at this moment. There might be a feeling like you need to figure something out or get control over something, when really what you need to do is to listen to life like it's a song and trust that every note is leading into another one. So things are coming together that you might not have the full picture yet of how things in your life are coming together, but you don't need the full picture because you're still in the middle of the song, right? You're still in the middle of the song. And for some of you, it might feel like it's a song you've never heard before, but in a spiritual sense, in a way, it's like the song is unfolding in the moment at the same time as it's one that you've heard, you are hearing, and you will hear in the future, right? It's like that idea that time doesn't really exist, only on this plane that we're in right now, but on a certain level of reality, time is happening all at the same time, right? Time is just a present moment. Like the present moment is just now. And so it's almost like life is you staying in one place and different notes and different sounds coming across past you, like passing you, passing through you. It's like the different experiences and feelings and people that you meet and settings that you find yourself in. It's like those are the different parts of the song. Those are the different notes of the music. And you don't always know where the next note is going to lead until it's there. And yet at the same time, sometimes you have a feeling of where it's going, right? And so pay attention to that. The quieter you get with yourself, especially if you really have not had time to be quiet with yourself, or you feel like things are very overwhelming right now, get quiet and listen. Get quiet and listen to life. Get quiet and listen to yourself. And you might, the more attentively and presently that you are listening to life and that you are in your life, the easier it might be to actually feel where things are going, where certain things are going. And the easier it might be to also let go and allow the song to continue, allow life to continue, allow things to just happen, and trust that it's going to make sense. The sounds of the song that you're in the midst of are going to come together into a full picture. And the more present you are with it, the more you might actually be able to tap into exactly what that picture is going to look like, and just flow with it and let it happen and let it unfold. Just like you would if you're listening to a song. Just trust the song to bring you where it's going to bring you, and be present with that. The experience of listening to a song and listening closely in a way where you can isolate different parts of the music is coming through, like the idea where you're like, okay, I'm listening to a song and I'm focusing on the drums right now, or I'm focusing on like, oh, is that a trumpet? I didn't even realize there was a trumpet in this. Oh, that sounds like that's a violin. Like picking out different sounds, picking out different lyrics, choosing to focus on different aspects of the song. It's almost like that metaphor is important for you and how you approach your life right now. Like maybe there are certain things that you need to tune into more than others, or maybe you tuning in and just being quiet with yourself will lead you towards actually what it is most important for you to be listening to right now. So you can pick out the sound that you really want to be paying attention to and not feel like you have to listen to everything at once. So there's something in that as well. Yeah, I mean, I feel like TLDR is a lot of you need to get grounded, become more present, relax your nervous system, and sit back and allow things to unfold, take your hands off the wheel a bit and let the song play out. So I hope that resonated. I hope you found that to be helpful. That's all we have. So if you are interested, we do offer personal tarot readings as well as hypnosis and human design services on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye. Hi, Group 4. If you selected this card, then you're in the right place, and this is your reading with your one quote wisdom for today. So as I explained in the intro, there is a quote on the back of this card, so I will talk about the image on the card and the quote on the back, and that will be your message for today. And it's my intention that it will serve you in some way that is in your best interest, and it's meant to be a very quick message. They've all been quick so far, so that's what we're doing. Let's just get into it. So it's interesting because out of all the quote cards that I shuffled up today, this one and Group 2 both came out with these eyes that are looking to, at least from my perspective, they're looking to the right. So maybe some people are here from Group 2, maybe some of you clocked that and wanted to see both cards. The interesting thing is that also, although they're from different books, the quote that is on the back of this card and the quote that was on the back of Group 2 are from the same author. So that is interesting. If you did pick both groups, maybe Ali Smith is an author you want to check out if you haven't already. Now, I'll get into the quote in a moment, but first we're going to look at the image here and see what messages come through. So first of all, we've got a sun and a moon here, and also this sort of like fan or mask thing. I'm not sure, I drew this and I'm not sure why I drew it like this. This is just kind of, they're all intuitive drawings, so I don't always know where they're going and why. But it's kind of giving me the vibe of someone who's like holding like a lady who's holding a fan in front of her face, hiding her face away a little bit, like being a little coy, right? So possibly you, or maybe someone important to you, is being a little cautious or shy, but also maybe being a little coy, maybe being a little flirty. That could be significant. And there could also be a significance between the sun and the moon. So maybe if you're interested in astrology, it could be something about your sun and moon sign and how they're interacting right now, or what they mean for your chart, or maybe two different sides of your personality that want to be expressed. This could also be something that is mirrored to you in a relationship in your life. Maybe you and another person who seem to be two sides of the same coin, or seem to be opposites in some way. But there's definitely this feeling of balance, and this feeling of dark and light, and this feeling of two different perspectives. Maybe even for you, there's two different perspectives that you're trying to hold at once right now, or that you can see in a certain situation. That I feel like for most of you, you're holding relatively well. You might be someone who does, in general, have the ability to see multiple perspectives at once and can hold multiple seemingly disparate truths at the same time. There could also be something about you or someone else in your life maybe holding back or concealing something at this time. Not necessarily in a way that feels malicious or harmful, but is something to take note of. That either you or someone in your life, or maybe you and someone else in your life, are aren't showing all your cards right now or are holding back on something about something. So let's get into the quote on the back. So this says, "It is possible," he said, "to be in love not with someone, but with their eyes. I mean, with how eyes that aren't yours let you see where you are, who you are." And this is from Autumn by Ali Smith. So this is definitely about mirroring, right? This is about seeing yourself in the world around you or in another person. And so that might be important to, it might be something that you experience today specifically, where you are really seeing how the world is mirroring back to you something about your mental state, something about where you're at emotionally. But you also could have a significant person in your life who serves often as a more obvious mirror to you for certain aspects of your personality. And maybe even, you may be even called to become more conscious and cognizant of the ways in which how we see another person is actually a reflection of ourselves. And also, I almost heard how we see ourselves. So maybe for some of you, there's an important message here about someone that you're relating with today, or someone that you relate with on a regular basis, reflecting something back to you about how you're seeing yourself. Like almost like whatever it is that you're seeing in them is also in you too. And whether it's negative, positive, or a mixture of all those things, that's something to be aware of, because it can tell you something about how you see yourself and what then you project out onto other people because of that. And I'm not necessarily getting that you're projecting things on other people that aren't there, although that could be part of the case. And that's something to play with and see, okay, like how much of my perception is reality and how much of it is just what I expect because of how I'm seeing the world right now, or the paradigm that I'm in, or the paradigm that I've been in before, you know what I mean? But it could also simply be that there are things about other people that are present in you as well that you are not recognizing as also being part of you, or that's looking to be integrated. This could be a bit of a shadow work thing, actually. So some of you might be called to do some journaling or do some active shadow work if that's something that you practice or are interested in looking into. And it could be around relationships in your life. It could be around how you relate to people, because I do feel like there's an importance here around how you're relating with people today and how you're relating with yourself. I don't feel like there is a specific message in terms of what it means for you, because I feel like it's different for everyone watching here. And I also feel like it's an important discovery that you're meant to make yourself. It's something that you're meant to uncover through your own introspection. But I do feel like this is a sure sign that you can use the universe and or important relationships in your life today as a mirror to introspect. So if there's something that you're wondering about or something that you are inquiring about within yourself, if you ask for a demonstration from the universe will show you through another person's actions what it means, if that makes sense. Is there like a good example? I'm getting a few different examples. One is if you're noticing someone else's talent at something, then it's a call to reflect on your own talents and the ways that other people might see you when you're doing something that comes naturally to you or that you're good at, that you yourself might overlook or not think too much about. But when you see it in someone else, you're like odd, or you think that's really cool. But you don't take into account that you and other people, that you yourself are like that for other people, that other people look at you the same way when you're doing the things that come naturally to you, which to you might not seem like a big deal because to you it's not, but to someone else it would be. So you're being called to see where we all have our strengths that sometimes we overlook, but we don't overlook them in other people. And then there's also the idea of seeing where we're critical of someone else for an action or for something that we perceive them to be doing that is actually something that we ourselves are quote unquote guilty of. And the reason that we are being so harsh on this other person is because it's something that we have trouble accepting within ourselves. And if it's something that is consistently coming up as a problem you have with other people, it might be time to disconnect from externalizing it and look at it and how it shows up within you, and then work with yourself to see if there's a different perspective you can take or a different way that you can integrate that part of you so that it doesn't continue showing up as an external problem in your life, right? Like, for example, if you're someone who is really hard on yourself for, or really hard on other people for maybe being a little bit emotionally insensitive, let's say, or saying the wrong thing, quote unquote, or not always clocking other people's moods and acting appropriately, quote unquote. And you notice when other people are doing this, and it's really frustrating to you and really upsetting to you. Maybe you notice that this is something that you feel guilty of in your own life at certain points. Maybe there are times when you're just not in the mood to really be sensitive to another person's feelings, or you're dealing with your own thing and you don't act in a way that you would want to, and you feel really guilty about that. That's why when you see it in other people, or you perceive this in other people, you feel very strongly about it, because when you perceive this in yourself, you are very hard on yourself. So you might decide to do a little journaling or work on figuring out why that is such a big deal to you, why you feel so guilty about maybe not always being the most sensitive person, or why that's such a big deal to you when you see it in other people. And then you might come to a new perspective on it. You might be able to find more compassion for yourself. I don't really want to get more detailed than that, because I honestly feel like it's your own journey. It's something that you do have to come to on your own. And these examples may or may not even reflect exactly what it is that you are seeing reflected back at yourself from the universe or from other people today. So hopefully those examples help, but don't get too hung up on the example. If it's not fitting something for you, you'll know. The universe will show you what it is that you need to reflect on today. Because I do feel like there is some self-reflection that is important for you today. And it does feel like it will be satisfying to finally come to some kind of conclusion about it, because you will then stop seeing it reflected to you in such a dramatic way or such a frustrating way. Or if it's something that you want to see reflected back to you more often, maybe it's something that you really love about the world or about yourself, or that you want to see more of in your life, you will find a way to experience more of that, to experience more of the thing that you're seeing reflected back at you, to look for it more actively, and to therefore have it become more part of your reality. Like, you'll see what you see in other people that's good is within you. What you see in other people that you don't see as good is also within you. And when you can start to reconcile those parts of yourself and develop a different, healthier relationship with those parts of yourself, then the world will reflect back to you that healthier relationship, if that makes sense. So that one kind of got a little deep, but hopefully it makes sense. And again, for some of you, maybe journaling is on the table, but also just like keep an eye out for the world reflecting things back to you today, and take a step back in moments where you can feel like there's something that's being said to you, and give yourself a moment to process and see what comes up. Because I do feel like there are things here that you're meant to realize and reflect on, that you will come to in your own time, that I can't really tell you what they'll be. That was an interesting one. Well, I hope that was helpful. I hope this resonated. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are interested in a personal reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, as well as human design and hypnosis services. So check that out in the description if you want. That's where the link is. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye.